There's nothing like watching two people slug it out like their lives are on the line, and then hug it out when it's all said and done. But what about the times when camaraderie was lacking? Here are the most disrespectful moments in the UFC. Ronda Rousey refusing to bury the hatchet. Rivalries are always fun as they spice up the fight week. Seeing two competitors really push themselves, along with the others, to a new level can elevate the sport. Rivalries don't always involve trash talk, but when the two fighters dislike one another, then hey, that makes it fun for everyone involved. Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate were two women involved in a fiery rivalry that was pivotal to women's MMA. Rousey is one of the biggest stars in sports history. On the flip side, Miesha was also a driving force in women's MMA, although she was not as renowned an athlete as her rival. However, they both couldn't be at the top together, as only one could be the champion. The two women originally met in 2013, where Ronda won via armbar in the first round. Take 2. Ronda and Miesha coached the Ultimate Fighter against one another, and this only widened the wedge, fueling the hatred even more. The fight happened, and though Tate lost, she did have the moral victory of being the first woman to make it past the first round with Rousey. That iconic Rousey armbar was an eventuality, and it forced Tate to tap on the third round. After the tap, Tate stood up and extended her arm for a handshake, but Rousey denied this. Rousey did have her reasons, but this was still cold. Jorge Masvidal mocking Ben Askren. Gamebred is one of those fighters you either love or hate. Those who love him celebrated when Masvidal set the record for the fastest UFC knockout at the expense of Askren's face, an undefeated record. And those who hate him, well, his post-finish celebration was for you, and Askren obviously. After force-feeding his knee to Ben, Masvidal landed a few more super necessary punches until the referee stepped in. It was then Jorge hit the ground to wake Ben up, shouted at him, and then mocked him by falling over with a stiffened body. So yeah, this was all pretty disrespectful, but perhaps warranted due to Askren's cocky nature. Either way, it's a highlight that will never die. Conor McGregor attacking the Poirier family. Following his second loss to Dustin Poirier in 2021 via doctor stoppage prompted by a leg injury, McGregor let some venom out of his fangs in the post-fight interview. The Irishman didn't have a leg to stand on when he made his claims that Dustin's wife was in his DMs, but he yelled it into the microphone anyway. Many believe that Conor would have a leg up in the boxing for this fight, but unfortunately, he was completely shut down. Conor's disrespect wasn't just claiming that Jolie, Dustin's wife, was messaging him, but the Notorious also made what seemed to be death threats at the couple. He kept repeating "in your sleep," which is about as malevolent a threat as we've seen in the UFC. Michael Bisping spitting. In case you've never seen a video of Michael Bisping, we'll fill you in. He's a great fighter, a former champion, and he's about as brash as one could be. After Bisping defeated Jorge Rivera in a bout that was already controversial due to an illegal knee thrown by the count, he doubled down and gave the fans a reason to hate him. Bisping said to Rivera, "Go home, loser," and spit at the corner of his opponent. This was some of the most blatant disrespect that we've ever seen in the UFC. The Brit did take to the mic and apologize, but it's for moments like these that give the sport a bad rap. Paul Daley cheap shots Josh Koscheck. Possibly the most disrespectful and dirty move MMA fans have ever seen in the UFC is when Paul Daley booted himself from the organization by punching Josh Koscheck after the fight was over. Don't get it wrong, there's a large group of people who like to see Josh get punched in the face, but this just left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Koscheck dominated most of this fight with his grappling, which is a surefire way to irritate a striker such as Daley. To add to this fire, Daley threw an illegal knee in the first round. Luckily, it missed, but Josh acted as if it landed. So, with these additives stacked on top of the innate urge to punch Josh in the face, Paul did just that as soon as the fight was over. This was cheap, embarrassing, and overall, just stupid, as it got him banned from the UFC forever. Like and share if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to follow Sportskeeda MMA on all of our social media platforms.